Welcome again to another episode of what? The Final Boss. I am Raccoon Chad.
Fat Tallow 124 reporting for duty.
Hey, Joss, I'm here.
And Chris,
A.K.A. Doppelganger Alpha.
a.k.a. Doppelganger Alpha.
Yeah.
There you go.
My guy.
There he is. So yeah, today we're going to be talking about Sega. But first, let's talk about some of the games we've been playing. Tyler, why don't you start us off?
As always, Resident Evil. Keeping up on my events.
On the grind, dude.
Yeah,
on
I've
the
been
grind.
seeing your
On the grind.
little Facebook post, dude.
This week we had to kill ogres.
Okay, how'd that go?
It went well.
Did you melee some ogres?
No,
Oh,
I didn't melee.
That's
any
rough,
ogres.
isn't it?
No, I mean, it is because I would rather just melee everything in that
Yeah.
game, but like, how much Resident Evil have you played?
0,
Like, okay. Well, they're like giant size, they're ogre men, so like they're literally ogres above you, so it's a little much to try to melee them.
Yeah.
And they also like literally shit on you, like if you do too much damage to them, so you just gotta like stand back and hit them with your magnum. I finally unlocked infinite bullets on my magnum, so yeah, I do dirt.
You're
Yeah.
just like,
Sounds like a really family-friendly game.
Yeah. And so I'm excited for that. The next event is going to be, I think you have to form up teams. And
Okay.
it starts tomorrow. But yeah, we're trying to get ranked up with somebody who's been doing really well in the rankings, so that way I don't have to do too much work.
Yeah.
the free ride, Tyler.
Yeah.
Dude, that's boss.
But yeah,
Cool.
keeping up on my Resident Evil events.
Nothing else? You haven't been playing anything?
Other than that, still Kingdom Royale on my phone, and
Are you playing
Monster
League?
Warlord.
Are you playing League at all?
I haven't played League. Like, I just got my computer working again, so I'll start playing League again.
Yeah.
But, like, I haven't really played League at all.
Yeah. Right on.
I really want to get that new champion, though.
Which one?
Vera? No.
He's the chains guy. Like, I don't even know what his name is.
Yeah, I know who he's. Yeah.
He's cool looking.
He's a support character, and I like support characters.
Yeah.
I think I might check him out then.
Yeah.
He looks
Still
really
haven't
fun.
played in 3 months, so I don't know
Yeah.
why I'm saying that. So I'm probably not going to play.
Every time we leave here, I'm like, Chad, dude, let's hit up some League this week, and you're always like, yeah, dude, and then just never happens.
Yeah,
We're
never.
awful. I've been playing a little bit of League. I just like a few games, but I got back. I'm on that Hitman grind, still playing that shit. It's getting harder too, and
Yeah,
like
I
the
bet.
story's getting really fucking good. So I'm pumped about it. And
And you're talking about Hitman Absolution?
yeah, sorry,
Okay.
Absolution, the newest one. And then I went and got a game at Fry's with my girlfriend because she told me it was filthy, and it's called Rhythm Heaven.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that
Oh,
game.
yeah.
And it's on the DS.
Yeah.
It's actually really fun. Like, it reminds me of a mixture of like WarioWare and that game Simon, where it's just like, you know, it'll be like boo, and then you have
Yeah.
to copy the pattern or whatever as it goes on. It's kind of like that, but it's a rhythm game, and
That
it's
sounds awesome.
and like all the little things that are going on are like weird and cute because it's just like for like little Asian kids, you know?
Yeah.
So it's just like little like pelicans and shit, and just like dancing robots, and you're just like,
Dude, that's
it reminds me of like WarioWare,
Yeah.
like a lot like WarioWare. So I don't know. That's pretty much what I've been playing.
I've been playing the new Devil May Cry game that just came out.
feel like
I
giving
wanna
us a
play
little
that.
review of that?
Well, I'm a huge fan of the series, like in general, and you know, it's kind of a reboot. So some stuff's different aesthetically. It's done by a different company.
Yeah.
Still, you know, published by Capcom, whatever.
Mm.
But you know, they really streamlined the gameplay. It's more Americanized, kind of aesthetically, and probably my favorite thing about it is, you know, they got music from one of my favorite bands, which is Combi Christ.
Yeah.
So
The
you
music
know,
is pretty cool.
and the music really gets you into the game too.
Yeah.
I guess the only downside is it's a pretty short game. Like, I already beat it.
Yeah.
And
How
it's-
many chapters was it?
Oh, there's like 20 levels, but you know, I mean, all of the levels are so much fun.
Okay.
And I guess there's some DLC already.
Of course, it's Capcom.
Yeah, I hope
Day
that they
one
have.
DLC.
I hope that they have some version of the Bloody Palace, because That's always been fun to just
Yeah.
like grind on enemies and like go up levels and see how far you can get.
Yeah, some of those boss battles are like super epic too. They're so much fun to
the boss
watch.
battles are so well done.
The computer
graphics
one is
look
definitely
amazing.
one of my favorites. That one's super creepy.
The newscaster.
Yeah, the newscaster boss. That's so epic.
Yeah.
Like, if anybody's gonna pick up this game, I definitely recommend it just for the boss battles. Like, they're super cool to like.
That guy
look at.
reminded me of the bad guy from Tron.
Yeah, totally.
Master Control.
Yeah.
Ooh, filthy.
Looked a lot like that.
That's tight.
I'll just show you guys that if you're interested. Other than that, I've been playing the new Skyrim DLC that came out, Dragonborn.
Yep.
Dude, I picked that up. I'm stoked to start playing
It's
it.
pretty
Yeah.
good. They actually added a new like map area, so it's like an island, and it's got like all these locations and everything like that. The cool thing about it, though, and I'm so glad that Bethesda did this, you can actually go back to Skyrim anytime you want.
Oh.
Unlike other DLCs, like there was some in the Fallout games where like once you go to that area, you're stuck there until you finish the whole quest chain.
Yeah, I hate that.
Yeah, so they don't do that to you this time around, and the area is pretty big, so there's a lot of things to explore.
You should tell them what the name of the island is, or like what its relation. Because you said it was like off the coast of Morrowind.
I don't remember the exact name of the island, but yeah, it's supposed to take place like off the coast of Morrowind, and there's a lot of the aesthetic, like the armors that you find, I guess, are from Morrowind. I never really played Morrowind though.
Dude, Morrowind is so filthy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, I got into the Elder Scrolls, like, right when I was about to start playing Oblivion, and then right before I got into Oblivion, Skyrim had just come out, so I was just like, well, I'll just play Skyrim then.
Yeah.
But, I love that game. I've played it, I'm on my, like, second or third playthrough right now,
Yeah.
and I put a bunch of mods in the game and everything, too.
Yeah. Yeah, those mods that you put in there look pretty sweet.
That's the
Dude.
best thing they added onto Steam was
Yeah.
the mod support.
Yeah.
Because it used to be really annoying having to use all third-party stuff.
Dude, the Nexus mod manager
Yeah,
is
next.
bad.
I mean, it was convenient, but like, it's not like they really honed it in with like Steam right now.
Well, I really like the customization aspect. That's always been my favorite thing of any video game is how much you can customize. So I fell in love with mods for that very reason.
Yeah, the Skyrim
And-
experience on PC is so much better than the console.
Mhm.
I feel sorry for people who play it on the wrong system.
Plus, you can fix your own bugs.
Yeah.
But yeah, the mostly like with the mods, mostly I just go for like different kinds of armors and stuff, and just like customizing options, and new monsters and
New
Any-
revamps of towns, like they just up the quality scale of everything.
yeah, just more stuff all around basically.
Texture mods are my favorite.
Texture mods
Definitely.
rule.
My
Fun
bread
about
just
texture
needs to
mods.
look like realistic bread.
Yeah.
And the
It
cool
better
thing
look
about
like
the mod
cheese.
manager too is that it works with a bunch of the other Bethesda games too,
Yep.
like New Vegas, Fallout
Yeah.
3, and Oblivion, and a bunch of other games. I think it even works with like Dragon Age.
Ooh.
Like they have a bunch of
Yeah.
mods for Dragon Age on the
Yeah.
Nexus site.
That's
Dragon
cool.
Age, dude. I need to finish that game. Ugh.
So yeah, I've been playing Strike Suit Zero, which is a huge disappointment because the trailer looks so fucking filthy. Like in the trailer, they show you playing as this robot the entire time. Like
Yeah.
you see some shots of like you in a ship, but for the most part, they're like, yeah, you're in a robot suit. You got to fly around, and you don't get to see the HUD, and that's the kicker, because when you get your HUD and you actually get in the mech, you only have a limited time of how long you can use that mech. And then once that time runs out, you transform back into a ship. So think Robotech, but they only have so much time to like be in mech form.
Now I didn't play that game, but one thing I really liked about it when I was watching you play was how they helped you with leading.
Yeah,
'Cause,
yeah,
you
a
have to
leading-
lead your targets to shoot them.
Yeah.
And they actually have like a little crosshair that goes in front of the enemy ship so you can learn how to lead your shot.
That was-
That's really cool sounding.
Yeah, no, it's really useful, and like it's something that more games should, like more flight simulator kind of games should incorporate, like help you lead your target, because like doing that in space is really hard because like your depth perception isn't going to work that well, especially in like a game that's really well polished in space, but still it's like there's still a lot of guesswork in that. So it's nice that they do that for you. Like blowing shit up is super satisfying, but you can like definitely tell the formula of the game because like you go to a cutscene, you're floating in space, nothing's happening yet, so you just gotta like fly around aimlessly in space, and then all of a sudden, enemies warp in, shoot them down, one escapes, then cutscene, and then they warp back in, more enemies, more difficult, shoot them down, one escapes, cutscene, waiting around, and then more ships come in and you blow them up. And, like, it's just rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. And it's just like, this game could have been so much better. Like, it could have been so much more fun, but it was just so disappointing, and I'm not satisfied with that.
Does it have any kind of, like, multiplayer to it or
I don't think so.
That might have made it, worth playing.
Yeah.
Because it seems like the kind of game that really deserves, like, a good multiplayer mode.
Yep.
With, like, 8 players or 16 players just going around dogfighting in space.
Yeah, definitely. That sounds like fun. But I don't think that's it. I mean, if they do have a multiplayer mode, I'm not aware of it. But, yeah, then I've also been playing Borderlands 2 every now and again.
Yeah.
I'll start playing that with you as
You
soon
should.
as I...
What level are you?
I think I hit like 29 maybe.
Okay.
I'm like level 31 right now.
I'm 34.
My, character.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm 12.
You're tight.
we'll go back and play with you, Mike. I'll
thanks,
make
guys.
a new character.
I got a Necromancer that's like level 13. I can run that with you for a little bit if
Yeah,
you
we can have
want.
like 3 Necromancers follow you. It'll be tight.
You won't need to do anything. Just have them cast their
robot.
the
robots
robot.
And then I'll
destroy
and then we'll
everything.
just sip pina coladas and just like, watch the mech fight, basically. Like, cool.
Someone should
Tropical
be a
singed over here.
soldier, so that way we can just throw out the turret. You won't have to do anything. It'll just be AI babysitter mode.
Life on Pandora is hard. All these robots killing things for us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another game I tried to play was Darkspore, and I say try to play because I tried to play it today.
I read about this,
Yeah.
dude.
Oh, man.
So-
Such a funny thread on
I
Facebook,
know.
dude. I was dying.
Okay, so...
I've never seen you that mad on
God, I
I'm
was-
telling them about the error message.
Okay, so I tried to play Darkspore because I told Chris about it today, and I was like, "Hey, I've got a free copy of it. Do you want to play with me?"
And that trailer looked awesome.
The
I
trailer
totally
for
wanted
it
to
looks
play
really
too.
cool. It looks like it's Diablo.
Yeah.
Like it looks so filthy
Like Diablo with customizable monsters.
and current.
And
Yeah.
yeah.
So like I try to boot it up, and I have to install like new patches. So I do that, and then when I open up the game, it asks me to log in. So it's like one of those games where you have to play online. Like you cannot play it offline.
Fuck EA.
Getting to that, just you wait.
Sorry.
Okay, that's fine.
I didn't mean to ruin it.
So I try to log in, and it's an invalid password, so I'm like, alright, I forgot my password. I enter in my email, and then, I change my password, I restart the computer, then I turn it back on, and it won't let me log in. So I do that, 3 more times. I change my password 3 more times, and then it's still not working. Like, I still can't log in. And it turns out that this error message, 73003, if you get that, then that means, Gesundheit,
Sorry.
that's okay. And that means that your account has been corrupted. Like, your account credentials have been corrupted, which means you cannot play the game because your account's been compromised in some way. So, the game that's attached to my account, I cannot play. Because the IT department there doesn't know how to fix the bug, so all they do now is if somebody gets that error message, refund your money, because they can't fix it.
Wow.
So I can never play that game.
Unless you
I can
start
get my-
like a new Steam account or something.
Yeah, but then again, I'm still rolling the dice because I could get that error message on that other account. Way to go, EA, you fucked me again, you fucking bastards. God, I hope you rot in hell.
That is
Oh my
so...
god, that so pissed me off. It's like, I never even got to play this game.
And it looked so cool.
It
too.
looked like so much fun, and then I thought I should have reacted to this, but like when the splash screen came up, it said like the latest patch notes were from 2011, and I was like, that's probably not a good thing. Wow, I'm really angry. Anyway, so then I played Antichamber, and I felt really good about myself afterwards.
I don't know anything about that game, but it
It's
sounds
oh
weird.
my god, it is so good. It's one of my favorite puzzlers right now. It's
It looked trippy.
Yeah, the whole idea of it is that it teaches you about its own world in like a weird way with like pictures and like you making mistakes and then learning from them and then, reacting differently when you're faced with that puzzle again. So basically what you have to do is you have to think about your own thinking and question your own logic. and it's so much fun.
Wow.
Fucking love that game.
I actually
yeah.
played another game this week that I just remembered. Thank you, Chad.
Yeah.
I think it's called Incomplete Swan.
I've
But
heard of that one.
yeah, or Unfinished Swan, something like that. And so it's this PS3, like, really weird, inventive indie game where basically you're in a complete world of white.
Mm-hmm.
Just white all around you. And you throw black balls of paint.
Mm-hmm.
And so, as they splash around, the particle effect lands so that you can see the borders and ridges of things.
Oh, wow.
So you're like walking around throwing paintballs. And you don't want to oversaturate everything because then everything will just be black. But like you got to throw enough around so that like you can tell the depth and splashes of things. And like as you start to get into it, it's so much more intricate and like it goes from being like, you know, weird maze to you're at like a pond in a lake and you're like throwing stuff around and like all of a sudden like you're like, oh, there's a porch swing and a chair over there and there's a stump and like the whole world is like revealing itself around you and like my friend watched me play it because he's like, dude, you should try this, and he hands me the controller. So I'm going around like throwing the paint at different stuff. He's like, oh, I had no idea there was like a mace and sword in this room because like he just didn't throw paint on this certain area in the room.
Mm.
And then, like, as you go on, you start to, like, find out this storybook adventure that goes along with it. And it's, like, it reminds me of a lot of, Max and the Purple Crayon. I think that's what it's called.
Oh, I've heard of that game.
Yeah. No, it's not a game. It's a children's book of this kid who's just, like,
I think
drawing.
it's Harold in the Purple
Yeah,
Crayon.
it's somebody in the Purple Crayon.
Yeah.
But,
I
like,
thought
yeah,
that
it's
was a
this-
game.
No, it was
No, it was a
kid's
series
book.
of children's
Oh, okay.
books. That was
Weird.
like from a long ass time ago.
Huh.
That was like
And,
when
like,
I was
this
a
kid who would, like, you know, draw on the wall, and then, like, he would draw stuff and, like, go on adventures with his drawings on the wall with his purple crayon.
Okay.
And so it's basically like that, and you're hearing this story about a king who, like, first the world was white, and he liked it that way, and then the peasants complained
that's
because they
ignorant.
couldn't it's not that bad. It's not like he was a white king and wanted everything to be white. But, like, and so then they're like, and then the peasants complained, so then he's like, okay, I'll add black to things, and then I'll add shadows. So then the king went around and painted shadows on everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, all of a sudden in the game, there's shadows on everything. And so you're like, oh, well, now I can tell where I'm going. And then it just, like, turns into this whole storybook thing, and as you go along, you're supposed to find these balloons, which lets you unlock little abilities. One of the abilities is you can stop time while you're throwing your balls. So that, like, you can throw, like, 30 balls and they'll just sit there in front of you. And then you start timing it and they just explode everywhere. And so you just paint things all randomly.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really sweet. I'm going to definitely pick it up. It's only like $14 on PS3.
Cool.
PlayStation Network.
Sounds pretty
Shout
intense. Okay.
Unfinished Swan.
Yeah.
Word.
Cool. Yeah, I also picked up some comics recently. I got Batman, the Man Who Laughs. That one's about Batman's first encounter with the Joker. It's already really cool. Batman in Time was another one I picked up. It had a picture of Batman being a pirate, so I was like, okay, I'm in.
That's fucking
Oh, the Return
cool.
of Bruce Wayne.
No, this is a different one, I think.
Oh,
Or
okay.
yeah, it's probably that one. I don't remember. But I also got Marvel Zombies 3 and 4 to complete my incomplete collection.
Okay.
And then this other comic called The Five Fists of Science, starring Mark Twain and Nikola Tesla. And they try to save the world.
Okay.
Wow.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
I want to read that one.
I'm already reading it. So.
Well, we
Pretty
got
excited.
it, but still.
The writing is not that good, but that's okay.
Oh.
It still sounds hella fun, though.
Yeah. So let's move on to our topic at hand, Sega.
Sega.
Yeah. So,
We should talk about how they started.
yeah. Go ahead.
No, you.
Long ago, in
I
a
think-
time before consoles.
I think your information started before mine, so you should go ahead.
Okay.
And I'll just add in little footnotes.
Yeah. So around the 1940s, a company called Standard Games was founded by these three dudes, Martin Bromley, Irvin Bromberg, and James Humpert. I probably pronounced those wrong. They're probably written down wrong, but I think that's what they're called. They basically had a company that shipped analog games to the troops that were fighting the war. I think it was like World War II. It was World War II, actually.
In the 40s?
Yeah, in the 40s, right?
I don't think so. I think World War II was like
Battlefield
late 50.
1942.
Whatever.
No,
Anyways,
no, World War II was like 30s and 40s. Like it ended in like the early 40s.
Damn, word.
well, in any case, they did that. So,
Oh, no, it was in the 70s. Anyways, yeah.
yeah. After the war, they started supplying games to the Japanese, and then in 1951, they moved their company to Japan and changed their name to Service Games. Service starts with an SE, Game starts with a GA.
Sega.
And then, meanwhile, David Rosen, a American officer in the Air Force, had his own company of 2-minute phone booths in Tokyo. Don't ask me what that is. I don't know. His company, Rosen Enterprises, actually organized a
2-minute
merger.
photo booth.
2-minute photo booth?
Yeah, photo booth, not
Oh,
phone.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Does that makes more sense, though.
It does.
Yeah, sorry.
That's okay. So his company, Rosen Enterprises, merged with Service Games, and then after that, they changed their name to Sega Enterprises. So it's kind of a short little history.
And they added, they were the first arcade games in America to cost 25 cents. We were talking about that earlier. Like,
Yeah.
it's like,
Pretty
that's kind of, it's,
revolutionary.
yeah, exactly,
Like,
revolutionary to
It's
to
the standard.
arcades.
Since I've been going to an arcade, it's multiples of 25 cents.
Yeah, absolutely.
starting a trend. Rosen. David Rosen.
Does anybody know, isn't Neo Geo owned by Sega, or am I completely
I don't
off?
think
Or is
so.
Neo Geo just their own thing?
I think
I think
Neo
they're-
Geo's their own
yeah.
thing.
Okay. Damn, okay.
They actually had their own system in like the really
The
early
Neo Geo
90s. They were
Pocket.
one of the first game manufacturers to use memory cards.
That's nuts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those things cost like an arm and a leg. But
They
if
were
you
they
had
were
a Neo
expensive.
Geo-
But the thing is like if you had a Neo Geo system with a memory card, you could actually use that memory card in the arcade versions too.
yeah.
That's so
That's
cool.
If they had the
Filthy.
card, if they had like the compatibility for it, but nobody really used it because they were really expensive.
But
So-
that stuff was big in Japan
Yeah,
because their arcades, they actually encourage that sort of stuff.
definitely. So do you guys think we'll see another Sega console in our lifetime?
Absolutely not.
No, you don't think so? Why is that?
Sega's a publisher now. Like,
Yeah.
The Dreamcast was so ahead of its time, and like, it was their last effort, and that thing didn't make it.
Well, okay, on the topic of the Dreamcast, somebody told me the other day that they announced it at E3. They were just like, yo, here's a Dreamcast, and guess what? It's out tomorrow. And then right after E3, the system was out, and everybody was just like, what? Like, there was no preparations,
Yeah.
like, no pre-orders, anything like that. I feel like that's a really bad, like, marketing
Yeah.
tactic. Like, there should be, like, some hype, like, some advertisements to get people just, like, hella juiced
No,
on it.
yeah, it was ahead of its time. Like,
Yeah.
it was an online console. It had 4 controller ports, like CD, DVD quality games.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think the biggest downfall of the Dreamcast is that it was really easy to pirate the games, so nobody
Yes.
was really
That
buying
was
them.
that was the ultimate
I
killer of
mean,
that.
it was like they didn't have any like copy protection, so you could just
None
like
at all.
download the game
Yeah,
off the
one
internet
person
and
bought-
burn it onto
yeah.
a CD-ROM, and then they actually they had this code that they used to when they were porting old games onto the Dreamcast. They had this emulator program that they had built into the discs, and basically people reverse engineered that and used that to figure out how to like basically play pirated games on the Dreamcast. And I mean,
Damn.
I don't know. Say what you want about piracy, and it kind of sucks, but you know it is probably what killed the system.
yeah. It is.
Because you know if they weren't making money off of it, then yeah.
It also didn't have a lot of imported game support.
My
'Cause-
biggest problem was the controller, though. I couldn't stand that thing.
It was
God,
so
It was
big.
so weird and
I
funky,
loved it.
It was
but
like this
the
big,
memory
dude.
card, it had a Tamagotchi built into it.
was
That
so
played
cool.
other bonus games. Like, what? That's
Chows.
so
Yeah.
The Chows from Sonic
amazing.
Adventure.
Like,
The memory
Fuck
card was
the
kind of
haters.
cool, but you know they should have
Sonic
had that
Adventure.
thing like plug into the
Definitely.
consoles, so they could have maybe brought down the controller size
Yeah.
a little bit.
No wonder it didn't sell well, dude. Japanese people could barely hold the controller, dude, because they love small shit in Japan. They don't want big ass clunky controllers.
Yeah.
Their phones are already like half the size of ours and just like way.
It's like
fucking
this
cooler.
big. It's like as
yeah,
big as
it's
this
a
big
small.
light.
It's a
Okay.
lighter. Dude.
Yeah,
in
it's a
all
bit lighter.
honesty, compare the first Xbox controller to the size of the Dreamcast controller. they're not that off. Yes, the Dreamcast is still way bigger, but the Xbox controller is not that much smaller.
The first Xbox controller is so fucking big, dude.
I think that Microsoft actually based their first Xbox controller off of the Dreamcast one.
Yeah.
For some unknown reason, they were like, this is a great idea. Let's stick with this.
Ugh.
That was one of the main reasons why I didn't like the original Xbox that much. But then they actually released smaller controllers too.
Yeah.
I liked them. I liked the big controllers. It was nice because I kind of have big hands, so it's just like, yeah, just want something to grab. Just want to really hold on to that thing.
grab.
It's like, yeah. Plus, it could like take my beatings when I got frustrated and threw it on the ground.
Let's grab your hands.
Yeah.
Damn.
Mm-hmm.
Now I just want to play fucking Katamari.
That was a very big non sequitur. I'd love to play that game too.
Yeah.
You know, the Sega Saturn was kind of ahead of its time in a few ways too.
Mm-hmm.
They had a, I mean, the system itself was, again, it was prohibitively expensive, so it didn't really sell that well. But the features that it introduced were things that got picked up on later.
Yeah.
Its version of a memory card was basically it had a cartridge slot.
Yeah.
And the idea was they were going to have like cartridge games along with it too. But, back then it wasn't really cost effective.
Yeah.
And, the Saturn had some pretty good games. I played the Virtua Fighter, a couple of the Virtua Fighter titles on it, and, those were some of the first, like, early 3D fighting games that were actually, like, playable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, do you guys think that Sega should remain as a game developer? Do you think they should even bother trying to make another console?
No, they should focus on, yes, being a publisher, but they need to be a little bit more selective and protective with their IPs. I don't want to get too much into it because I'm sure we will later, but we've all seen the direction Sonic the Hedgehog has gone since Sega has become a publisher. Sonic 06 was supposed to be a grand return, and I mean,
God,
what were they thinking? Sonic Unleashed. We can just
That
name
game
any of the
like
Sonic
such
games.
a bummer, dude.
Like, the last two good Sonic games that have come out were Sonic Colors and then Sonic Generations.
I heard Sonic Generations was
Sonic
Well,
Generations,
Sonic Generations was
amazing.
good, but like I did not understand the final boss fight. Like when you got to that part, it's like, what the hell am I supposed to do now?
Generations is the one where you switch back and forth between 3D. Okay, I bought
Yeah.
that game, and like that game actually really disappointed me because the 3D play, I really wanted it to resemble Sonic Adventure more. And so I got really upset because, dude, Sonic Adventure is just the shit, dude. I just want to, like, grind on rails
it's not,
and shit.
Well, okay, you can do that, but it's more supposed to be you have the classic 2D Sonic feel,
Yeah.
and then the more, like, turn the camera, but you're boosting through the level, and it just feels like you're going fast.
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
Yeah, like, I really enjoyed it. Like, I liked it so much I bought it for the 3DS just so I could enjoy it in 3D.
Yeah.
And, like, the way that the game plays, it feels like as long as you can get the timing down, you can play all of those levels with just full boost, like, jumping around. You just have to, like, play them constantly over and over again and learn what you're doing and what to do in a stage.
For that game, I have it on PC, and you definitely want to take the time to get an emulator, like, for PS3. If you have a PS3 controller, get the emulator and plug it in, because it's fucking really bad on fucking keyboard. Like, I fucking hate
If you have
Use the
or-
Xbox controller
Yeah.
on the PC.
I don't have an
an
Xbox.
Well, I don't have an Xbox either.
But you
I
have
still
a
got
controller.
I play it with my Xbox 360
because I have a PC. I mean, I'm not a keyboard and mouse guy either.
Right.
But I love PC gaming.
No, me too. I
Yeah.
love mouse and keyboard, but just for platformers, it's like the worst feeling for some reason.
I actually don't own an Xbox because I have a computer. I'm like, they're pretty much the same thing.
Yeah, they are now with like Windows Live, but that's way off topic.
Sega.
They actually have a good like list of IPs. Like I wrote all of them down, but I'm not gonna say all of them. But they have like House of the Dead. They have those Valkyria Chronicle games, and I heard those are actually really, really good RPGs.
Shining Force was the shit.
Is that one of the Valkyria Chronicles?
No, that's a Sega
that's
title.
another. Yeah.
They ended up re-releasing the first Shining Force on the Game Boy Advance after a while.
I guess
it was originally at Genesis, and they had 2 games.
I guess they made that new Golden Axe game. I guess that game was pretty hyped up in the U.S. because Golden Axe is like one of the most classic like arcade games.
I remember,
And,
the originals were so much fun.
and,
you could ride monsters on it. That was so
Dude, those games were
innovative.
hella fun. They were like, I love side scroller style like beat 'em up games. They were so much fun, like Turtles in Time and shit.
Turtles in
They're really
Time.
dated now, but they definitely set a standard back then.
Yeah.
Like being able to choose like different players to play with in the beat 'em ups, and then like being able to ride animals and then get like power attacks and all that stuff.
That was all you needed because like back in the day, there was arcades. And you could play games in the arcades, and then it was getting the arcade experience in the home. And games like that, like there was no home version of the Alien vs. Predator arcade game.
No, that's a real bummer
Yeah,
too, because that
that's
was
a
an
super
awesome
bummer.
arcade game.
Not until a couple years ago could you play the Simpsons arcade game at your own house.
Dude,
Like,
that game.
playing
fun.
arcade
So
type
fun.
style games
The Beavis
at
and
home.
Butthead game.
I remember I had a copy of Terminator 2 Judgment Day. And if you had the Super Scope, it was so much better. But
I
if
have
you
my
didn't,
Super Scope.
if you didn't, playing that game with the controller was a little off. And it's just not the same as having the whole full gun set up in the arcade that vibrates when you're shooting.
Yeah.
Damn. And then I guess they had a series that was really, really popular in Japan called Yakuza. And I guess it like didn't get any like, I guess they barely sent America any copies. They like didn't advertise it at all. But I guess
think I remember
in
hearing
Japan
something
it's
about
like
that.
the
Yeah.
shit. Like it's I guess
that
that.
Yeah, they're on like
PS2 game,
Yakuza
or-
5 or 6.
No, it's a PS3 game actually.
Isn't that like
It came out in like 07, I think. 07 or 08. And
I'd heard about it. I just figured it was probably another Grand Theft Auto knockoff.
That's
or
what I was gonna
something.
say.
Like,
Isn't that like their equivalent of Grand Theft Auto?
It might be,
Okay.
but I guess that game seriously like held Sega up because they were like about to go into like bankruptcy, and they put that game out there like as like a fucking final breath.
Yeah.
And I guess the Japanese people just bought the fuck out of it.
Yeah.
That's tight.
Yeah.
Man.
And
Because I want to
that's-
say Yakuza 4 most recently, it had this really cool looking zombie DLC for it. Where just like there's a zombie outbreak, and so it's just you fighting hella Japanese zombies as the Yakuza.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's
that
cool.
sounds
Why not?
fun.
Yeah. And speaking of the Dreamcast being like way ahead of its time, that was the original system that Phantasy Star Online was. Like,
Yeah.
fucking Dreamcast had online capabilities, dude. That is insane. That is way
It
ahead
wasn't
of its
the
time.
first online console.
No, I
Because you
know.
got to consider like Sega,
Sega
Channel,
TV,
Sega
like-
Channel.
I played the
Yeah.
Sega Channel. That was so
We're gonna get back to
cool.
that, but anyway,
Yeah.
like the online capability of the Dreamcast. I only got to use it, or I only got it working once, but my house didn't have internet at the time. It wasn't as readily available, but like just that blew me away that I could have a console that would let me go online.
Okay, but let's talk about fucking how big the Phantasy Star Online series was, and how long the first game was out. Okay, the first game was put out on Dreamcast, and then it came out also on GameCube. It was the only online GameCube game
That was the system I played it on.
to exist
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah.
Literally, it had one online game, and it was Phantasy
Wow.
Star Online, and it was still on the same like servers. So like, even when it was on GameCube and even when it was on PS2, it was still on
Cross-platform?
It was cross fucking platform.
That's amazing.
badass.
Yeah.
so
You
that
never
like
hear about
legitimately that's like 06 shit. Like like probably 04. That's
Dude,
insane.
That's
dude.
interesting. Cool.
Yeah. That seriously blows my mind.
That blows my mind too.
I don't think I got like cable internet until I want to say like 2000, 2004. Like I was
Yeah.
hella late in the game.
Yeah,
That
that's like
sucks,
right
dude.
around the time.
And I feel like that's when it started becoming like way more common is like that era. So it's like that was like a little bit before that too. Like
Yeah.
that's just insane to me. Mad props actually.
Yeah.
I have a lot of respect for that.
So I guess like since we already kind of touched on it, like, would you guys even miss Sega if they died? Like,
Yes.
Would
Yeah,
you really?
Definitely.
They're
Like, would it kind of hit you pretty
Yeah.
hard?
Sega's just such a nostalgic like
What about
property.
Nintendo though?
Well, yeah, but I mean that's the thing though. Nintendo and Sega, they were competitors. Like when I think of the console wars, it started with Sega versus Nintendo,
I agree.
and eventually Nintendo would win
Of course.
and continue on. But like, I'm glad that Sega just didn't fold under. I'm glad they kept and stayed as the publisher. I'm glad they're still coming out with games and that they're still trying.
Cool. Okay.
And actually, a lot of kids do like the new Sonic games. That's why they're able to keep making them, even though, like, as people that played original Sonic, like, we have so much higher expectations than that, like, that type of gameplay, because it's so mindless, and it's just, like, the story's just way
Hollow,
out there. It's
yeah.
just, like, really, like, he's a werewolf now, like,
But at the end of the
get
day,
outta here.
But at the end of the day, do you really care?
I do actually, dude.
Okay.
I actually, dude. Okay, because of the Sonic Adventure series, like that was the first Sonic Adventure 2 for GameCube. I had like the late version or whatever. That was the first Sonic game that I ever owned, and like I was saying outside, like I was a Nintendo kid, so when I went to my friend's house to play Sega, it was like way more epic than anything because it just was different, you know? It's like, I don't own Sonic, so when I get the chance to play it, Tyler was saying the same thing.
Yeah.
It's just like, you fucking take it. Like,
Yeah.
it's basically like a whole new game. It's like,
This ain't a question, son.
Yeah.
Take the controller.
exactly.
Like Mario, you're playing Mario. It's not as fast paced.
No.
It
Yeah.
doesn't feel like.
It's way more, it's
That's-
like way more kiddie feeling.
That's
actually.
funny that you guys mentioned that because me and Chris actually just watched a video. You want to talk
Game
about
Theory.
it?
Yeah. We saw
Super
a video
awesome
on
channel.
Game Theory it actually proved that Mario is faster than Sonic because they straight up measured the levels in the games that they appeared in and then like referenced that against like their max running speed in both games and actually figured out that like, you know, per their size, Mario runs a lot faster than Sonic.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I don't remember the specifics of it, but it
I'm a
turned-
math major. I approve all of that.
Yeah.
It was all correct.
Yeah.
Your
I'll just pull out my
calculations
cards
match
and be
up.
like, yeah, that's right.
It's a trap card.
They
You're
straight up
correct.
used the math
You're
to prove it.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool.
I love Game Theory, by the way. They like the one they did on Earthbound was just
Yeah, it
so
was super creepy.
Dude,
as
I
hell.
need to play through that whole game.
Yeah.
I've never played through that whole
We'll have
game.
to talk
It's
about
so
Earthbound some
worth
other
it.
time. I got a few words to say about that game because I love
So,
it. But
what would you miss Sega if they died?
yeah, I mean, I was more of a Nintendo kid growing up, but I still definitely had a healthy appreciation for the Genesis. I mean, I knew a kid growing up that actually had. I knew a kid growing up that actually had like all the different like peripheral attachments for the Genesis, like the 32X and the Sega CD. Like, and he had the Sega channel on top of that. Like he had
Jesus.
everything for it. It was crazy. So like, you know, I really got into that, and it actually kind of makes me sad that they're not even making consoles anymore. To be honest,
I agree with that.
I
Absolutely
completely agree. I'm saddened by it too.
They could give it another shot because
That's what I
you know
feel.
it's like I said before, they come up with some really good ideas that are really innovative, but they
Yeah.
need to make them cost effective.
And you know what? They even challenged Nintendo a lot of times in the innovation
Yeah.
department. Like, they were really pushing the boundaries. Like, no, they didn't always have the better, like, hardware, but they were almost as innovative, maybe more, than Nintendo in their early years. Like, yeah, they had, like, the Super Punch-Out that was split screen, and, like, you know, they revolutionized some things, but, like, some of those things just didn't stick until, like, later.
Sonic
like the DS.
and Knuckles. The idea of you had Sonic 3,
oh
and
yeah,
you could play through that entire game and get a full experience.
The very-
But then, if you plug in Sonic and Knuckles, the expansion pack, and then you plug it in on top, you get the full game, but then you can play as Knuckles. And then you can also plug in every Sonic game before that, and you get to play as Knuckles in them.
Hardware DLC.
the very
That's
first
what's
DLC.
up,
yeah,
dude. That's
That is
what's up.
I actually
Straight
yeah,
up DLC.
that's the one I had. I'm actually playing that like right now.
God damn it.
I got back into it because I love, like you say, how they basically take Sonic 3 and Sonic and Knuckles and they combine both games.
Yeah.
So it's like one big long ass Sonic game, and it's like the best. It's the best Sonic ever, in my opinion.
All right, so
Absolutely, hands down.
that makes me wonder if Sega stops producing consoles, then the hardware developers that they have, I wonder if they were bought out by Nintendo. Because if you think about it, as you know, as much shit as people talk on the Wii and the Wii U, they're fucking different. That is like they're going another
They're
direction.
testing new water all the time.
And you can plug in your GameCube controller and play your GameCube games. So definite a backwards compatibility check.
Yeah.
But I'm saying like that is innovative. Like the Wii
now
is
you mention
innovative.
it, they really started picking up on that sort of stuff like right after
Right
Sega
after
basically
GameCube.
stopped making consoles.
Exactly. And fucking Dreamcast died about the time like mid GameCube probably, and that's a little bit.
They probably
before.
left to go with that team. They
That's
probably
what I'm
left
saying.
to go to Nintendo.
I bet Nintendo was like, "Yo, you guys aren't making consoles for them anymore, so why don't you guys just come make consoles for us? Like, we will fucking tear this up."
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I don't want to get into conspiracies, but that makes sense. Like, I mean, that's definitely something to consider. I would, yeah.
I feel good about that.
Yeah.
I
think you
believe it-
might have.
I believe it in my heart.
Yeah.
It may or may not be true, but I hope it's true.
Yeah.
That would be really interesting.
Hashtag cooking mama stage.
Yeah. So I guess, is that about it? Or no, you guys wanted to talk about Sega Channel.
Sega Channel,
The
dude.
Sega Channel.
Yeah.
This is like one of the first examples of like
Way ahead of the
subscribing to some sort of game downloading service on the internet. And this is it even came out before like computer internet was really like, you know, taking off. So like this was innovative in like so many different ways. It actually used a cable line, so it was like technically a type of cable internet connection.
Wow.
And the Sega Channel hardware was just like this cartridge that the cable line plugged into, and you plugged it into your Genesis.
Wow.
And then when you played it, they had different games that you could play each month. But each time you played the game, you had to download it, which did kind of take a long time for some of them. I mean, you know, it wasn't great download speeds back then.
Right,
So
obviously.
like, you know,
Free game, though.
getting a game would be like, you know, you'd have to wait a good maybe 10, 15 minutes for it to download.
And
But
then you could play it, and then when your console got shut off, you had to do it again the next time.
Yeah.
Dirt.
That was a downside. But if you think about it, it was like you paid a monthly fee and you had access to literally dozens of different Genesis games every month.
Wow.
And they let you store save files for each game, too.
Cloud storage.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I
Sega's
don't know.
tearing
Okay,
it
I don't know
up.
if it was cloud storage. It might have been internal. I mean, I don't know about that for sure.
Still, that's
But,
console
I mean-
that's console memory.
Yeah. That either way, that's badass.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is really badass.
That's
and
in the Genesis?
That was on the
Sega
Genesis.
do what Nintendo don't.
Oh God, Tyler, don't start with that.
Word. They have games. They're working on games now. They're coming out with another Phantasy Star game.
Oh, okay.
So that's cool. They're doing the Total War series. They're coming out with Total War Rome.
Turtle War.
Turtle War. I like turtles.
What did
And,
they buy in the THQ merger or Dissolver?
Relic Entertainment. They own Relic now, which made. Nope, I can't remember. But yeah, Relic was a sect of
God, you're tight.
THQ. And they're also working on the new Company of Heroes game. And the Aliens Colonial Marines.
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah, buddy.
A lot of people are
Bring it
hyped
up.
on that game.
Yeah,
so,
I got Chris a copy, so we're totally going to play multiplayers.
Thank you, Chad.
Yeah,
What,
you guys should get
for
on
PS3?
that. No,
No,
for
for the
PC,
PC.
son.
Sign me up,
Let's
baby.
do it. Dude, I'm
Yes.
on Aliens
That was
vs.
weird.
Predator. Can't
Yes.
do it.
All right.
So
Yes.
we all got to get up on some of this.
T before right there.
Can we
See-
only be Marines in that game? Or
Yeah,
can we be
I think the
aliens?
idea is you only play Marines in this one.
Well, no, like
but-
there's got to be a multiplayer where you play as the aliens.
Okay, I
Don't
think the
yell.
multiplayer is just Marine versus Marine from what I've heard. I don't know very much about this game, honestly. What I'm really hoping for, though, is that the campaign mode, like the story mode, is actually going to be multiplayer too, like co-op.
Yeah.
that would
I'd
would
be really sad if that wasn't.
They'd be dumb to not do that. But like, let's just explain the premises of Aliens Colonial Marines. You want to just
Okay, so for those of you who aren't familiar with Aliens, first of all, shame on you.
yeah.
Second
shame.
of all, okay, so after they realize that they're, you know, stuck on this planet.
In which movie?
In the movie Aliens, the
Okay.
second one.
Okay.
You know, they go to the planet colony on LV-426 with the Marines, and they get their asses handed to them, and they lose their ship to get back up to the mothership, the Sulaco. So there's this one part in the movie where basically all the soldiers are talking to each other, and one of them asks, How
Hicks.
long until we can expect a rescue
It was
mission?
Hicks,
I think
wasn't
it was Hudson.
Oh yeah, Hudson. Yeah.
And then one of the other guys says 17 days, and then Hudson starts flipping out. He's like, 17 days? We're not going to last 17 hours, man.
Game over, man. Game over.
Yeah, no, he said that later or earlier in the movie.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I've seen it. But anyways, so the premise of this new game, Colonial Marines, is basically they send more Marines to find out what happened to the Marines they sent the first time.
Yeah, this is the 17 days after.
And they come across the Sulaco like floating in space. And of course, I guess, spoiler, there's going to be aliens on it.
Oh my god, really?
Yeah. Who
That's
knew?
insane, dude. Wow.
But yeah, so that's the basic premises of Aliens Colonial Marines.
Yeah, so it takes place between the second and third movie. It really just ties in directly into the second movie from what I've seen, like the trailers and gameplay.
I don't really see a reason why they would want to tie into the third one. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
They don't have to.
Yeah, exactly. There's really no point.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like,
It wouldn't do anything for this, because who really cares about what happens between the second one and the third one? Doesn't really matter.
Fanboys. I mean, I admit I'm a
Nitpicking
fanboy.
people.
I care what happened between that, but I don't need the game to tie the two movies together.
I think
like,
what
the
it's
fact that it relates to one of them already is good enough for me.
I think it's going to be kind of like a Transformers Fall of Cybertron kind of situation where they're just adding more to the lore.
God, that game was awesome.
Yes, it was. Why didn't you...
I know.
I bought it, and then you were like, yeah, let's totally play online, because it's filthy as fuck. I
I'm
love
broke
that
all the
game.
time because living in the city is expensive.
Yeah, that's
And
right.
I'm still trying to build a new PC too. So
Yeah.
I've kind of held off on buying games, but I still want to buy that game and play it, and I want to because I tried it out a little bit, and man, the Dinobots look awesome.
They
Everything
do.
in that game, the graphics were so amazing
Grimlock's a
too.
badass.
Yeah. Word.
Yeah.
But anyways, weren't we talking about Sega or something?
Yeah, we were talking about Sega. I think we're done with that now. So I guess let's just move on to the news part. One of the news articles I read was Microsoft buys Sega, and I think this was during the Xbox era. That was just the title of it, but it was talking about how they just released this information, I think, to the public that they were trying to buy Sega back in the era of the Xbox so that they could have their team help develop the hardware because they've already provided software for the Dreamcast because that's what Microsoft did. So, yeah, but they obviously didn't go through with it. But, yeah.
Wow.
So it was basically a news story about nothing, if you think about it.
Yeah.
Because they talked about something that could have happened, but it didn't. So
Wow.
it's nothing.
So basically, they just wrote a story. They literally wrote a fictional story in their head and they published it and said, "Look what could
It was
happen."
probably bullshit. I'm thinking about it now. It's probably didn't even exist. It's probably not even a thing.
Word.
Yeah. So, what have you been reading about?
No, I got nothing.
Okay. I also read a story about DC. Apparently, they're going to be making a Occupy Wall Street.
Oh, I read
Yeah.
about that too.
Yeah, we actually posted that article.
Weird.
Yeah, I know, it's weird. So yeah, it's going to focus on the 1% and the 99%. They're each going to have their own comic run. They should be dropping in May.
People are saying that's late, but that's still super relevant.
It is kind of late. Well, no.
I think that if they'd done it earlier, people might have just complained that it was too soon or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah,
I think
can
it's-
see
accused
that.
them of
You gotta
trying to
realize,
cash in on
well,
the
that
movement.
was-
So maybe they're just they wanted to wait until the whole thing kind of died down media wise before they tried to publish a book, so
Yeah.
people wouldn't accuse them of trying to capitalize on the protests.
That's exactly
I think
what
it's
they're
a good
doing,
idea.
though.
I think it's a good idea because it's kind of like a fun little blip in semi-current event that could have potentially turned into something that you could write a comic.
I don't know if I
about.
would call the Occupy movement a fun little event, but yeah, I see what you're saying.
Well, I mean, you
Batman's
gotta,
totally part of the 1%.
Yeah, he is.
you can't just stop comic lines or comic book storylines or arcs right
Well,
in the
no.
middle of them just because something is going on.
Yeah.
You have to stop and find a way that you can work it into what the plan was.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know if they're even going to set it in the DC universe either. I think it's just going to be a separate thing. if it does take place in the DC universe, then that'd be pretty cool. But
Yeah.
I'm not really sure, so yeah.
I gotta wonder how that would play out.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be really like insincere because it's coming from a big company like DC, so it's just like maybe if Vertigo published it, but they're not. It's DC, so it's gonna come off like, hey, we're a huge conglomerate corporation fucking company. Here's this story about the 1% and the 99% that we probably don't understand. So it's just like, this is not going to come off as the thing that you probably intend it to be. Even though the writers probably know what they're talking about, but still, like, coming from DC, I don't know how that's going to be received, so.
Yeah.
But,
It's going to be a little off.
yeah.
Something I read about this week is they're still working out whether or not the new Xbox console is going to be, or going to require an always-on connection.
Oh, no.
And that's further enforcing the fact that people are thinking that the console is going to be, as soon as you buy a game and put it into your Xbox, it will register that game to your Xbox, meaning the used game market will be completely obsolete.
Oh, wow.
Man, I wish they'd stop trying to crush GameStop. I mean, it seems wasteful to not be able to sell used games.
I say let them burn.
Like
fucking
I'd
hate
much rather
GameStop.
see
I want
GameStop
them
burn.
to die.
I want Game Informer still though. Like what
That's
am I
fine. You
gonna
can get Game Informers from somewhere else. Like you can send games into
Game
Amazon
Infor-
now.
Who
Game
cares? Okay,
Informer
who
is
cares about
owned-
who cares about that though? But I mean, think about it this way: like, where are you gonna find like the used games?
Amazon.
Yeah, dude, Amazon.
You can
that's what
literally
I do.
go to Amazon. You can send a request to them that I have this game and I want to send it to you. They'll say, okay, what condition is in? You give them an honest condition that it's in. They'll send you this much money, and then they add it on as a credit to your Amazon account.
Huh.
And then you could just buy other used games from other people on Amazon.
Yeah, dude, that's what I've been doing
Yeah,
this whole
and
time.
that is so much more
Really?
convenient than
Yeah. That's
how you've
GameStop,
been
which is going to completely screw you
your
over on
Nintendo
market
games?
price.
Yeah, dude, that's how I've been getting all my SNES,
SNES?
N64, and
Dude.
NES games. Like, that's what I did. I mean, my NES isn't really working right now, but, like, that's the gamble when you pay, like, $50 for a console that's over, like, 2 decades old. You know?
Yeah,
like,
that's cool,
it just
dude.
happens, but, you know.
Shout outs to Amazon.
Yeah, dude, it's a great place. That's where I get all my fucking comics, too. Amazon. I don't care what condition they're in. They're gonna be beat up no matter what, because I'm gonna read them. So, whatever.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
nice to have
Comics
a
are
little
meant
bit
to be
of love.
loved, not like put into like a plastic case. Like, yeah, I'll put them in sleeves, but like that's just because I don't want to get like really bad. So, you know,
Word.
yeah. You haven't been reading anything?
No.
Okay.
Sorry, dude.
That's all right. Have you seen any articles around?
Well, I'm still waiting to hear more about this supposed Steam box that's been rumored.
I don't really think it's a rumor anymore. It's
No,
confirmed.
it's not a rumor. It's confirmed.
Yeah,
Well, I
it's
mean, I know
confirmed.
it's confirmed that it's a system, but I want to see some specs. I want to know what it's
No,
going to
the
do.
specs are online.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Just you should.
And the parts
I
are
don't know if they've
interchangeable.
been.
So,
Yeah, it's going to be a modular console
Yeah.
PC.
oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So it's like a $400 little PC box.
Now,
not
are
that
they going to
small.
have like proprietary controllers and shit too, though?
No.
Or?
It's all just. It's just got like USBs and a HDMI DisplayPort. So I
And-
think you're responsible for having your own controller and keyboard and mouse for it.
Oh. So it's just another PC, basically.
Basically. But I mean, it'll be like minimally enough good to run your.
But it'll
Steam
play all
stuff.
your Steam games
Uh,
too.
yeah.
Well, that's cool. I mean, if you got a Steam account and you want like a system just for that, then that's
Yeah.
Or if you want to
And
land.
it's on like a Linux.
Yeah, or yeah, you know, it'd
Yeah.
probably be a cheap way to land too.
Yeah.
It's on like a Linux system
Yeah, it is.
too.
Yeah,
and
Linux
it's like
based.
open
Yeah, if
source
you want to
and
host
shit.
LAN parties, you could
That'd be
actually
the perfect thing to do.
Be a lot cheaper than a gaming PC.
Yeah.
And it saves space, so you can like, you know, get on the dinner table and shit.
Like, I've been talking about how I want to build this, just a LOL box PC. It would be one of those keyboard, like, hand
Oh my god,
pads.
really?
So it only has those 4 buttons that you need. You'd have a Razer mouse. You'd have your Steam box that it's all plugged into. And then instead of a monitor, it would be like the Sony 3D TV head display glasses.
Oh,
So you're just wearing a personal set of glasses
Wow.
that displays an 80-inch TV in front of you, and that shit can even go 3D TV. So you would be playing just 80-inch LOL, just sitting there, and I mean, like, everywhere you look is LOL. And then you got your hotkey fingers going on this side, and your mouse on the other
we're never going to see Tyler again. He's going to sit on the toilet.
He wants to plug into the Matrix.
He's going to eat bagel bites and drink water.
Water.
For the rest of his life.
Water! Of all things! Water.
Yes.
Sorry.
Because who the fuck knew that thing drank water?
Brother. Water, man.
Water?
Best gaming drink.
If you don't know what we're talking about, please refer to Snacking 101, one of our earlier podcasts.
Levels.
You don't know what number it is.
Whatever.
I think it's 4.
You're a 4.
Thanks, baby.
All right.
4 out of 5.
So I guess if nobody has anything else to say,
Nope, I do. Knights of
man.
the Old Republic 2 Studios has an idea for another Star Wars RPG if Disney is listening.
I already knew that because I told Chris about that earlier today.
How do you guys feel about that? I hope Disney Interactive listens.
I never played any of the old Knights of the Old Republic games.
Fucking up, playing. They're the shit, dude. Sorry.
I mean,
They're so fun.
there's so many games I play already. It's just like you can't possibly play all of them.
You
But
also
yeah,
forgot to mention that you played DDO as well.
I
DDO.
totally played DDO.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Dungeons and Dragons Online.
Oh.
Yeah,
puppy.
that's my MMO fix. I have one that I play. I never got into WoW, but I just I play it because it's Dungeons and Dragons, and I love D&D, so
Yeah.
yeah. I actually ended up joining a guild recently that does raids every Sunday, so I've been getting just incredibly good loot this last couple
Mike,
of weeks.
you know what raids are all about, don't
Oh,
you?
yeah. Too much time of my life spent in raids, man.
Yeah.
Today, sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say today I was in a raid where I fought probably the coolest looking boss I've ever seen in DDO, which was this demon that changes color when it shifts elemental types, and it shapeshifts into dragons.
That's
So
nuts.
it's like, so it's like shapeshifting into the different kinds of dragons, like, the red ice dragons, the blue dragon, the green one that spits acid, and
Yeah, those ones
all that
suck.
stuff. And it's changing back and forth and like teleporting, like as we're all like trying to fight
Dude,
off
that's
each other stuff.
bananas.
It was pretty nuts.
That's straight up
BA.
bananas.
There was magic and
Bananas.
death going everywhere. But yeah, it was a lot of fun.
B-A-N-A-N-A-S.
Dude, I want to play Dead Space 3.
I don't.
I want to finish the first Dead Space. I
know.
bought that game and just never got past like the second chapter.
It's awful on PC.
I have it on the PS3.
Well, yeah, that's good then. You're doing it right, basically.
You looked so disappointed in his answer. You're just like, oh, jeez. Actually, one of the other things that I read about was this thing called NVIDIA Project Shield. It's like this portable gaming thing where...
PCDS.
Yes.
Basically, it's what Tyler wants for LOL.
Yeah. So you can definitely just sit on the toilet, eat Hot Pockets,
And drink water.
And drink water. But yeah, like, it basically looks like a Xbox controller and has a high-definition TV attached to it. So, like, you can play, just like games on it that are compatible with that controller.
It's probably horribly expensive, but it sounds like it'd still be cool.
Yeah.
Dude.
But yeah, look, it sounds pretty neato, but I probably wouldn't get it because that's a little bit too much.
I don't think I'd want to play a PC game on like a tiny ass screen.
I don't think I'd want to play that on the bus, to be honest.
Yeah,
for very obvious reasons.
Just like
'cause I
playing
would get
Skyrim on
mugged.
the
Well,
bus.
yeah, 'cause
And
you live in
raped.
downtown Seattle.
Yeah,
That's why.
it's like, hey man, that's a really nice console.
That's a cool game. It's mine now.
Yeah, like that was really. Thanks for that, man. Like Merry Christmas.
I just want to throw in our
In that
wild
sweater.
card news article for the week. I just looked this up on my phone.
Wild card.
Thanks to Kotaku. And
Oh,
I
what a
want to know what
coincidence.
all of you think about this right now. Okay, so
Bad idea.
apparently, upcoming erotic game Custom Made 3D will be bundled with a very special controller. It looks like a PS3 Move, but you put your dick in it.
You're serious.
So it's a-
I'm serious.
So it's a PS3 fleshlight.
Yes.
That's awesome.
So it is a video
Count me
game
in. Well, it's
that will
about
be
damn time.
oriented by how fast you're stroking it.
No!
Yes.
Dude, can we all get this game and play this multiplayer?
Finally, I can have sex with my PlayStation.
Oh my god.
Just circle jerking on PS3. It's like online. Like,
It's
oh,
dumb.
hey, nice to see you here. Like,
It's called the Juicy Air. It's a peripheral that is a wireless masturbation toy and responds and reacts in real time to your stroke and depth.
Oh my god.
Stop.
That is
Dude,
hilarious.
seriously,
Yeah.
You might want to put a disclaimer at the beginning of the podcast.
Yeah.
Just because of this whole bit.
Damn, dude.
I
It's
mean-
real dirty.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thanks, Sila. That's awesome, man.
If you want to see a picture of it, yeah, it's basically a fleshlight.
We'll be posting this.
Yeah.
Just look at the description. We'll have a link for this one because this is definitely
Definitely
wow.
not safe
Is
for
it
work.
safe for
folks.
work?
So yeah, like
No.
no, this is not safe for work. Do not open this up while you're at work. Please don't. But yeah, like
Watch it
while you're
twice.
listening to this, if you don't know where we are, we're at trollstompgaming.com. Go to the Trollcast, and it's the final boss, and it's the latest episode. I don't know which number it is, 12 or something. I don't know. But yeah, so we'll have that in the description. Now we're just looking at the picture.
Well, somebody said we need a review for this, a serious review. Like, tell me how well this works. Like, I need to know.
That's amazing.
People will buy it.
Yeah,
dude.
they
it's,
will.
Oh,
It's, it's seriously fucked up enough to where people will buy it. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, we'll drop it now.
Okay, sorry, moving on. But yeah, that was the wild card.
So yeah, that I think that's about it. So
All right.
yeah, this thank you for joining us again on another episode of The Final Boss.
Final boss.
Yeah. Oh, there was another thing I wanted to say. Nancy Pelosi actually, she said that video games aren't the reason why kids are like violent in America.
Oh,
So
right.
I just want to give a shout out to Nancy Pelosi. Thank you. Good job.
For being
Thanks very
sane.
much.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for being not an idiot. That's awesome. Thank you for advocating for us because that's not what makes us weird.
I just want to say this right now. They try to label when they don't want to point a finger at what the real issue is. Like with gun control, they're trying to pussyfoot around it. So what do they try to rope in there again? Video games are violent.
Of course. And if
Of
it's
course.
not that, Marilyn Manson. Why
Marilyn
not? Because
Manson,
he's
yeah.
an easy target. Even though
Yeah,
he's a
he
very
is.
well-spoken and, like, very kind gentleman.
People,
You've seen his
people
interviews.
need to blame something to feel better about tragedies.
I agree.
People just cope in really weird and screwed up ways sometimes. So
Yeah.
it's messed up, but it's also kind of an unfortunate side effect of human nature.
Yeah.
But people got to think more with their brains on issues like that. And yeah, video games are violent and whatever, but they're just games.
Definitely.
Yeah, they're an outlet.
They are an outlet.
Everybody needs an outlet, and the
Some people
new
like to
Juicy Air will give you an outlet.
Yeah.
One of the things I like to remind people is one of the arguments about video game violence is that they say that it desensitizes you to violence, right? I disagree. I think it only desensitizes you to simulated violence.
Yeah.
It's still not going to make actual violence
Yeah.
like any
I still don't like
more
actual
comfortable.
violence.
Yeah, exactly.
It makes me uncomfortable if I
Yeah.
see something that's real. But I could watch all the fake violence in the world and be like, oh, that's fine because it's not real.
Yeah.
Don't watch Killer Joe. It's a rated X movie.
For violence, rated X for violence.
Yeah.
Fuck.
The guy from Into the Wild is in there. What's his name? He was also in Speed Racer.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah,
but
it's that guy. He's in it. Emil Hirsch.
Yeah.
He's in there. And,
Good memory.
dude, seriously, don't watch that. You won't like it. But it's fucking, the ending is horrible. This is a horrible movie.
All
But
right.
I'm glad I watched it. Anyways, so, yeah, that was weird. I don't know what that was.
So in conclusion, we don't want Sega to leave.
Yeah, we like you, Sega.
And don't watch this movie that Chad told us all about.
Yeah, don't watch that movie.
Shoutouts to the Juicy Air.
Yeah, I'm trying to get me that. Seriously, let's get some multiplayer
Yeah.
co-op.
We're gonna have a review up post haste.
Yeah. So right after this, just look for the review on the.
Just keep hitting that refresh button.
Yeah, you'll find it eventually at trollstompgaming.com.
F5.
F5 refreshes you. I guess that'll do it for us on the final boss.
It's Fat
I am-
Tower 124.
Okay, here we go. I'm Raccoon Chad.
I am Jossum.
And Doppelganger Alpha.
And that's the end of our episode. Thanks for joining us. You can find us on trollstompgaming.com. Facebook.com/TrollStompGaming, and Twitter at TrollStompGaming. There's no G, no G at the end.
It's the best.
Yeah. So find us there, subscribe, like us. We're on iTunes. Just search for The Final Boss. We should be the first result. Thanks again. See you guys later.
New videos coming out soon.
Yeah.